Welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro football, pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player. The weight loss champion, Redskins defensive end, Adam Carriker, is with me.
We may not be hardcore country, but we are Fourth and Pain, the best radio show under the sun.
You gotta love that. Former wrestling announcer, weight loss champion Chuck Carroll here. Be sure to give the show a follow at Fourth and Pain. Super excited about our next guest. Second time she's been on this program with us. Personal friend of mine that once inflicted a great deal of pain at me, but nonetheless, she is near and dear to my heart. Current TNA knockout champion, Mickie James. How are you?
I'm great. You guys love me.
We do.
Well, you're awesome.
That's why you keep having me on. Thank you.
We are
awesome too.
Huge Mickie James marks, to borrow a phrase from the industry, if you will.
Well, I want to start off with the first question. You know, we haven't talked to Mickie in a while. It's been quite a while. I want to know what you were doing last Thanksgiving. Did you happen to watch anything good on TV?
Oh, my Lord.
Was anything on TV you may have watched
How
day?
about, I'm sure you're eating this up. The training camp, Redskins training camp, is obviously in Richmond this year.
Yeah.
It's been a big to-do. It's been a big, all over the papers. It's been a big to-do. And no, I did not go or partake, or I actually haven't even been in town. Because I thought, like, okay, when I do come back in town, they'll just leave.
You got to drop in and say hello. Well, I was also going to ask you, on December 30th, were you doing anything or watching anything on TV December 30th?
Let her be, Adam. Let her be.
You can't help yourself. Can you?
All right, thanks for coming on the show. Hopefully you'll probably come back. You probably never will.
Here's the
have fun.
Here's the backstory. If you're not familiar, Mickie James is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, despite hailing from Richmond, Virginia, which, if I'm not mistaken, is very much Redskins country. So she and Adam go a little bit back and forth, and I do believe we had her on just before Thanksgiving. So that was a lot of fun for us last Thanksgiving, and so we greatly appreciate that. But seriously, a lot has happened with you between Thanksgiving and now. You've released your second full-fledged country album, Somebody's Gonna Pay. I mean, what's that experience been like for you, Mick?
Oh, it's been incredible. Like, we just had a show in Rogers, Arkansas, and we've been doing shows, touring, trying to, support the album, and it's been at radio now, and it got released in May, and it's just been awesome. Like, honestly, because I had my first music video, and Trish Stratus obviously co-starred in it, Magnus from TNA, who's in Main Event Mafia now on Impact Wrestling, and they did an amazing job, and as well as a bunch of my musicians and friends in Nashville. So that was fun to make, and yeah, I mean, I've been excited. We've been hitting radio hard, hitting the streets, hitting the streets.
Hitting the hard streets of country music. Now, I understand you actually did the CMT Awards. You were out there for that this year?
I did. I did the red carpet.
Ooh, fancy pants. How was that?
That was my very first red carpet. No, I was so nervous.
Come on now.
You're like, oh, I need the right dress, the right shoes.
Well, did you make any new friends?
No.
Boo.
Well, I really didn't get to meet very many people. I did meet this new, this band called Sunday Best, and they just got signed underneath the same label that I'm at, and they're really cool. But no, I really didn't get to see anybody. I mean, I did, but I didn't, if that makes any sense. Like, I could see Taylor Swift and Keith Urban and all the big, massive stars, but I was just kind of like, 2 rows back.
All good. All good.
Get back on the other riser, James.
No, come on now. You're Mickie James. You're wrestling royalty. They should be bowing down to you.
Front and center, right in between. Yes.
You're damn straight. You're hardcore country. Don't ever forget that, Mickie.
You're the TNA Knockouts champion. I mean, come on now.
I know.
Come on.
I
should have carried my belt right down there to the front row and just sat on the stage.
You're damn straight. You're damn straight.
Let's face it, that's what everybody wants to see anyway.
Speaking with current TNA Knockouts champion Mickie James with us, talking about her second album, Somebody's Gonna Pay. That's available on iTunes now. And actually, Mick, you're coming to the area August 13th at the Montgomery County Fair, part of Big Time Wrestling. You're going to be facing Rebby Sky, I believe, for the first time.
I know. How excited are you?
Very excited, especially as though that's literally across the street from my house.
Absolutely, and you can thank me later for making your whole day.
Well, God bless you. I'll thank you right now. Mickie's going to be...
It's going to be fun. It'll be great. It's a great show. So it is my first time facing Rebby Sky. We'll see how that goes.
Well, it's not just you out there. I know.
She's going to pay is what's going to happen.
Well, I can't see you not winning that match. Let's be honest. You got all the credentials in the world. That's just Rebby Sky right there. Come on, Mickie James. Also on the card, Matt Hardy, Chris Masters, Shane Douglas, Carlito, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, for God's sakes. Former NFL player, by the way, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, talk to me. What's your...
In a while.
What's
I love him.
When did you meet him? When you were working with WWE?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just hilarious, and he's such a nice guy, and his stories are the best, and he just makes me laugh. I adore him.
Well, we adore you, Mickie James, and I'll tell you right now, the man sitting with me, Adam Carriker, a huge Impact Wrestling fan, so I'm actually going to let him carry this segment of the interview, throw a couple current Impact Wrestling questions at your way.
Well, actually, my first question is kind of a mix, because you've worked in both companies, WWE and Impact Wrestling, and I've always wondered, what are some of the major differences between those two companies?
Mostly, I think it's honestly, it's hard to compare them, because I feel like it's a hard thing to do, because it's two different products at the end of the day. Like, Impact Wrestling is obviously wrestling matters, and we have some of the best wrestlers in the world, but it's pretty much the same thing, except for I feel like WWE now is more based around the entertainment and the storyline, that kind of deal, whereas we are more about the wrestling and telling the stories in the ring, and obviously storylines as well, but you know what I mean. So I don't know.
Okay. Is there a knockout or diva, per se, either one, that you've never faced, whether they're currently retired or currently active, that you've never faced that you would like to face someday?
Sara Del Ray. I've always wanted, and I was supposed to wrestle her, and I separated my shoulder right before, like a week before that match, and so I never got a chance to face her. And she's so incredible. I would love to face her. She's
still helping out at WWE Developmental?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, no, good for her. That's good for her. But I'm hoping that eventually you just never know when our paths may cross, but I would love to step in the ring with her, just because, I've seen her and I've heard so much about her, but I've never actually had the chance to really go toe-to-toe. And you always want to be challenged, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. Now, another question is, out of everyone that all the knockouts at Impact Wrestling, who is the biggest threat? I know who some of the current storylines are, but overall, who is the biggest threat to your TNA Impact Women's Knockouts Championship?
Myself.
You're the biggest threat to yourself? How does that work?
I mean, that's the only competition I have.
Oh, I got you. Well, if you had to pick another knockout.
It's
there's
hard
nobody?
to say. Gail, you know what I mean? It's like all of our girls are so great. Like, Gail obviously is, I thought our match that we had, for the championship just a few weeks ago was awesome.
Definitely.
We always go there and take it to the limit. So it's just, I take on all comers. You know what I mean? That's what I do all the time.
Well, who would you? Okay, cool. Who would you consider
Learn by
the
watching
great?
me, Adam. Learn by watching
me. Every Thursday night, without fail. I don't think I missed an Impact. I think it's been about 1.5 years or 2 years. I was watching on the DVR or live or something, so I do not miss it.
That's why I love you right there.
The man speaks the truth, despite the fact that he plays for the Redskins. You're getting Cowboy fan love. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get that.
Wrestling brings people together. That is truly Wrestling Cares right there. Question for you, Mick. A big-time friend of the show is Impact official Brian Hebner. Talk to me a little bit about your exchanges, because I've noticed you two kind of going back and forth on travel days on Twitter. I imagine that you have some good travel stories and adventures in there.
Oh, God, B-Heb. No, because obviously we're all out of Virginia, so Brian, Earl, and myself all usually fly together. And Daddy, he usually makes sandwiches for us in the morning for the flight. Isn't that precious?
Oh, that is precious.
Isn't that amazing?
I like that you call him Daddy.
Daddy.
That's because it's funny.
Daddy makes sandwiches for us.
Daddy makes sandwiches for us.
I love it. That's so Southern.
No, because, Brian calls him Daddy. How old is Brian?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Mid-30s?
He still calls Earl Daddy, so I think it's hilarious. So I just call him Daddy, too, because people at the airport think we're just one big happy family.
Impact Wrestling current Knockouts champion Mickie James with us. Give her a follow on Twitter at Mickie James, also MickieJames.com. And Mick, we're actually going to do a little bit of trivia. We're not going to have you answer this question, but we want the fans to answer it for us, and then they can win some autograph stuff. I believe that we have some autographed Redskins gloves from you, Mr. Carriker, that we're going to be giving away this week.
We do.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
I know.
Just a happy coincidence.
I don't know that my fans want Redskins stuff.
Well, you don't know that they don't either.
Just a
So,
happy coincidence.
so here's the question. You have to be a hardcore fan of not only country music, but also of Fourth and Pain to get this one correct. Go back, listen to our first interview with Mickie. Okay, there's your hint. And then go and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Fourth and Pain. Who was the first person Mickie James ever hit with a chair? Who was the first person Mickie James ever hit with a chair?
Don't think about it too
Love
long
this
or too
question.
hard, or you might come up short on the answer.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Mickie James of Impact Wrestling, the current Knockouts champion. Thank you so very much for your time. We look forward to having you on again sometime.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Always a treat.
Mickie,
Always a treat. Thank you.
this is Fourth and Pain. We'll be right back.